Okay, I guess if you're here today, that means you're ready to watch another video about Schlossberg exercises, daily drills and technical studies. Remember, we want to make this into music, play phrases, be paying attention to the quality of the sound, the quality of all the ingredients that we're using. And these exercises are relatively simple. So I'm going to show you several different things today, just to give you some ideas about how to practice these. You could be spending a lot of time just working on one thing, and sometimes we get stuck. So whenever you notice yourself kind of, you might call it grinding, you're just kind of grinding away. The first thing you want to do is just chill. Maybe, go get a drink of water, drop down and do 50 push-ups, walk around the block, go write an email, and then come back, clear your head. Because a lot of times when I was in school, I practiced between 4 and 8 hours a day. And that's not including my ensemble performances and rehearsals. And that's because I was a maniac. Well, I suppose I still am, but goes with the territory. And I'm not bragging about that. That was actually kind of foolish, but I had a lot of energy and I had a lot of drive to learn how to play the trumpet better, and I improved. So it all comes down to, are you improving when you practice? That's basically it. Now today we're gonna look at number 18 in the Daily Drills and Technical Studies book. And this can be done in a lot of different ways. You can do variations on the slurring and blah, blah, blah. I'm just going to do the first line and do it as a continuous slur. There's no tempo marking, so I'm going to play it the way it comes to me. I'm feeling this in 1 today. Okay, so I'm going for a feel. I'm going for a musical feel. See how there's a lilt to it? Now, that may not come out of the sound, but the fact that I have it in my imagination and that I'm feeling the dance, that really helps your body to stay loose. That's very important for me. Okay, so I could also play it at different dynamics, and I mentioned before, I'll probably say it again. You want to explore the range, the possible range of your dynamics, the possible range in terms of your, the pitch range, obviously. What you can do with articulation is really important. So I'm going to play it again, and I'm going to play it with some articulation. I have to come up with an idea, a musical idea now. Okay. So I had a target in my imagination. I'm going to do it again. See if I can refine that a little bit. Now I've got an actual piece in mind. So I'm practicing a sound. See, I'm not practicing a goal particularly. The goal is the sound. It's the style. So oftentimes I'll practice these things using all kinds of different articulation styles. I'm going to use another one. I'm getting tired of C major, so I'm going to switch to B. Again, I'm still in 1. I don't know if you noticed that. That's where the music is. Music is motion. It has to be in motion. You may have noticed that that time the notes had a different shape to them. So when you think about articulation, and we'll go into more depth, more specific things, but I'll give you a hint. I'll get you started on this. The front of the note, the first thing that people hear when that note first comes into being, that has a big effect in terms of the way it feels, kind of what the note means, what impression it gives us. So when I was playing with that very kind of staccato marcato, you know, very, very kind of punchy, short, then that had a kind of character to it. And the character, as I've said before, is what we're looking for. So it really helps me when I'm doing these things. These are all things that you could do with your voice. They're things that we already do when we talk. We all do them every day, all the time. We're expressing our feelings, whether we even realize it or not, through what we're doing with our voice. And the reason is because our voice is so responsive to what we're feeling, what we're thinking, that it operates automatically. That's where you're trying to get on the trumpet. It ain't so easy on the trumpet. We'll just do the best we can as we move forward. Okay, so I'm going to show you a little trick. It's not a trick, I shouldn't say that. And you may think I'm showing off. I've done this in one other video, I think, and I might do it again. I actually use this. This is a tool. This is one of those things that I do that I find very helpful to me. And if you can't do it, don't be discouraged. There are a lot of professional players who can't do this. And that doesn't really mean a lot. This is a reference. I use it as a reference. And it has to do with pressure. So when I'm playing, I use a certain amount of pressure, and so do you. And pressure is necessary, and it's important to have that balance, but it's very easy to start using too much pressure, especially as we play louder or as we play higher. I have an unusual problem in my own personal playing issues, in that I tend to use more pressure when I play lower. And the reason is I have less embouchure security in the low register because of my misspent youth, playing in bands and playing higher, faster, louder all the time. So it's taken me a long time to get to the point where I'm more comfortable in the low register. And that discomfort causes us to seek help from the pressure. Now, don't get me wrong, you need pressure. And this may not be enough pressure for you, but I want you to try it to see how much you actually need. So you take your finger, your thumb rather, and you put it underneath the bell. See? Underneath the bell. Take the other thumb and you put it underneath the lead pipe, but don't hook the brace. If you hook the brace, you're cheating, then you're pulling that horn into your face. It's just the flat of your thumb, just like this, underneath the bell and underneath the lead pipe. Now, if you don't feel secure doing that, I don't want you to drop your horn. I don't want you to sue me for malpractice because you dropped your horn. That's your business. So if you don't feel comfortable with this, do it over a soft surface or get somebody to spot you to catch the horn in case you drop it. But I think most of you won't have any problem. And there's where you put it is going to feel like, okay, that's balanced. Now there's another issue. When we play, we have a certain position. Some people play down like this. Some people play up like this. Most of us are somewhere in the middle, right? So that if you're somewhere in the middle, you're not going to have too much problem with this exercise. If you play at a more downward angle, then you need to change your angle as you do this exercise. Okay, so okay, that's a little demo, and I find that very, very helpful for me. Now, if you can't get up to above the staff or play a high C, with that amount of pressure, that's fine. And like I said, it doesn't mean anything. It's different for every person. It's how well it's working for you. So this is a way for you to figure out how much pressure you actually do use, and also whether you need that much. So it can be a great diagnostic tool when you're practicing. I combine it with this because it's all lip slur. Now, if I had to use a valve, I can, move my hand a little bit so I can get my finger on the second valve. See, I don't need a lot of pressure to play, but I might be using it when my chops are feeling insecure, and it's especially noticeable, obviously, when we get tired. We're feeling that insecurity, feeling weakness, and we start to rely on pressure more. So pressure, again, I'll say it, pressure is not wrong, pressure is necessary. You just want to explore and find out what's actually going on there, because most people are not even aware of the amount of pressure that they use in order to produce the sound. So this is it should be a beautiful, harmonious, good marriage relationship between your chops and that mouthpiece. I'll give you another little hint about this. I try and feel like I'm not blowing harder. I'm flowing the air in such a way that I'm actually floating that horn off my face. And that helps me a lot. Otherwise, you feel the insecurity, you tend to choke up, and it won't feel good. If it doesn't feel good, relax. Get yourself back into a happy frame of mind, as Herbert Clark says, and try it again at a more reasonable pitch level. Most people can do this around the low C, maybe up to the middle G. People who have more skill might be able to do it at the top of the staff. And if you can go all the way through your range this way, that's an accomplishment. But again, this is not about winning a prize or a competition. This is finding out what works for you. That's what I want you to keep in mind. So I'm going to play another one at a different speed this time. Good. I'm just flowing, 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 flowing. And that's what this exercise is about. It's a flow steady, right? Now, I would do the sing buzz play on this. You see, if you practice that and you get good at it, one thing you'll notice is that your vocal cords are vibrating continuously. And that's one of the primary things you always want to be working on is when you're playing a continuous tone, even if it's changing pitch or changing dynamics or changing range, you're always doing that continuous flow thing. Even when you're articulating much of the time, you're still doing that continuous flow thing. So when I was doing the stylistic changes with the articulation earlier, I'm still blowing the same way. Now here's something to watch, and when we do more specific work on articulation, we'll get into this. Most people have some degree of trouble when they're tonguing because the throat is trying to help. And if you can whistle, you might try this for yourself. Most people, when they're whistling, do not control they can't do staccato, separate notes. They don't do it with their tongue, they do it with their throat. So it's so I'm going, don't do that when you play the trumpet. Never do that when you play the trumpet. That's one of my few hard and fast rules. Just don't do that when you play the trumpet. Your throat should be completely neutral. Because you don't do that when you sing. Ha 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 ha, no, you don't do it with your throat. Ha 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 ha. Or ta 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 ta. See, that's continuous. Da 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 dot 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 dot. So someone has said that there are a very few number of articulations. You're either saying dot dot or da da. Da, da, da is continuous. Dot, dot, dot is separated, and I'm separating it with the tongue. That doesn't mean that's the only way you can do it, or the only effective or valuable way to do it. It's just that that's something that you can practice. You can see what. Yeah, wait a minute. What am I doing? Am I going dot 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 dot? And many players are doing that to some degree when they play. So when I find that I'm doing that, and I do notice it every once in a while, it's like, ooh, that's not good. Especially when my chops start to feel like I get tired really quickly. That's when you need to notice, am I kind of blocking the air, straining the air, squeezing the air with my throat? And if you're doing that, don't. Let go. I go back to the breathing tube, I do some singing, and I try and get back to neutral again. And when I'm there, then I can practice. So as you can see from the work today on this one exercise, you could be doing a whole lot of things with this. Now, I didn't play it fast. Well, I don't usually play it fast. Let me see what I can do. Now, let's say you play it at a moderate tempo. You play it slower, you're going to feel that it requires a different kind of control. It's almost like a different frame of mind when you're playing slower. You have to learn how to maintain the movement, the follow through in the movement. When you play faster, for most people, certainly for me, I feel like I'm driving the car faster, and at a certain point it doesn't feel quite safe anymore. If I go faster than that, I'm going to be pushing the edges. And I kind of like to push the edges, so I do, and then I start to lose control a little bit. So that's what you might call a growing edge in your playing. And the way you do it is get comfortable so that it's a beautiful movement and with a beautiful sound result. Consistent sound, as we've just been talking about, and accurate pitch production. And when you do that and you get comfortable at a certain speed, then start speeding it up. And I have a little suggestion for that, and then I'll let you go, because I know I've given you too many ideas in this one video already. But what I'll do is move quickly, maybe quicker than I'm comfortable moving, and then stop on a note. I put a fermata on it. This is I'll say this again, because this is one of the primary techniques that I use in order to rebalance my playing. Well, I'm getting ahead of myself. That's a Schlossberg exercise, and we're going to do that later on. It's a really excellent exercise, but you can start introducing yourself to this kind of skill. And what it gives you an ability to do is start to get these little quick gestures, and your body starts to become accustomed to doing these things and feel more comfortable with them. And that's exactly what we want. We want this to be as natural as speaking, if possible, as much as possible. Okay, that's plenty for today. I'll see you later on. Not sure what I'm going to do next, but I hope you join me in the future, and I hope that you're getting some results from listening to these videos. Go and practice. Enjoy your practice. I'll see you later on. Bye-bye.